Hey everyone, this video is going to be a bit all over the place. I haven't really scripted it out. I've got a few notes in front of me, but I've got something on my mind that I've been trying to articulate and haven't really put it down into words. For quite a while I've been struggling to play video games and really enjoy them. I'm in my mid-30s now, and as I've grown older I've jumped from hobby to hobby, but video games has always been a staple in my life. I think the first video game I played was Super Mario World for the SNES. Well, actually, it might have been Ultraman for the SNES. I remember getting home from a family trip and my mother pulled out a copy of Ultraman. I have no idea why she thought she should buy Ultraman, but she did, and looking back, it's an awful game, but I absolutely adored it as a child. My uncles had games consoles as well. I remember one of them buying my brother a Game Boy. I actually remember playing Ballerine Toshinden at my uncle's house, and my mum was adamant that the game was too violent. Well, the PlayStation was too violent, not the game. One of the things you could do in Ballerine Toshinden is knock people off the edge. My mum was not having any of that. We would eventually get a PS1. I remember my parents taking my brother, my sister, and me to a game in the city centre, and that was the first time I had played Warhawk. My brother never lets me live this down, but the staff member had said to us, just a heads up, it's going to be loud. So he gives me this controller and I start playing Warhawk, and about a minute in he asks me, what do I think? And my immediate response was, it's too loud. I don't claim to be a smart kid, or even a smart adult for that matter. We would eventually get a Dreamcast and a PS2 later in life. I do remember this one time when I was in London staying with my uncle. Me and my brother were both staying with our uncle at the time, actually. And I guess it's weird to look back at those times because I'm not really as close with my uncle as I was then. Sonic Adventure was released, and I remember being so excited by it. My brother was going to buy it, and I couldn't really hide my excitement at the time. So looking back, it's probably normal for kids of that age to be super excited by video games or toys. But I remember my uncle saying to my brother that he shouldn't buy it because I was getting so excited by it. And looking back at it now, I never really understood that logic. It just kind of sucked. I guess it didn't really matter. We didn't have the Dreamcast at my uncle's house anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to play it until we got back home. My brother did manage to convince our parents when they picked us up to drop us off somewhere so we could go get Sonic Adventure. I'd like to say it was for me, but he wanted it just as much as I did and was equally excited. Looking back, as an adult now, I can't really rationalise why my uncle was being a jerk about it. I was an overweight kid, so maybe it was just him trying to encourage me to do other things that didn't involve sitting on my ass and playing video games. It wouldn't be until I got into my early 30s that I actually lost weight and became a healthy weight. Around this time, I do remember playing the PS1 with my friends quite frequently, and we'd often play SmackDown or Street Fighter as a group. I've got such fond memories of the SmackDown series and just hanging around with my friends and trying to play through season mode on SmackDown 2. I was pretty good at Street Fighter Alpha 3, and I think that's probably just due to me and my brother playing a lot together. I think part of it as well is that we were just probably better than our friends. It's not as if I was actually good at the game. They maybe just sucked. The PS2 was the last console that my brother bought us. It wasn't until I actually started putting this all together that I realised how pivotal my brother was for really kindling my love for gaming. I've actually got quite a fun story about how we ended up with the PS2. I remember my brother and my mum had left the house saying they're going to go get a PS2 and go shopping. When they came back, they just brought in this table and then they told me that they couldn't find a PS2. I remember being a bit glum, but I took it pretty well at the time, and they just said, can I give them a hand fixing the table? Fix the table, and about an hour or two later my brother just pops in with the PS2 and a copy of Dragon Ball Z Budokai. When internet speeds started getting better, I did start playing MMOs for a while. I did really want to play World of Warcraft, but didn't have the money to do so, and I think it would have been quite a hard sell to try and convince my parents that they should pay a monthly subscription to a game. I did play the beta for City of Heroes, and honestly, when I look back at that game just blew my mind. But again, once the beta had finished, couldn't play that game because I couldn't pay for it. It wouldn't be until I got a part-time job that I actually was able to play and pay for MMOs. I don't know why I'm so drawn to MMOs. I think it might just be the social aspect of them. I guess there's something quite nice about being in this open, persistent world with other players. World of Warcraft's been a constant in my life. Regularly, I am considering going back to playing World of Warcraft. Every time I quit, I'm positive it's the last time, but it never really has. Lately, I've been playing a lot of older games, and I'm not one of those people that think video games have got worse over time. I do think that the video games industry kind of sucks at the moment, just in terms of quality, but I don't think that's the reason I've really fallen out of love with video games. I often wonder if it's just a problem for people that are my age. I'm in my mid-30s now, and the last game I played was Alpha Protocol. And the only reason I went back to it was I had some nostalgia for the game. I saw a video about it and thought, why not? It could be fun. And to be honest, it was the first game in a while that I was really excited to get back to and play. And whenever I'd finished it, I was looking forward to getting back on it the next day. And it's not because Alpha Protocol is an amazing game. It's exceptionally janky, quite buggy. And I don't know if I'd recommend it to most people today, but I think it's maybe just the nostalgia of playing something. It's almost a comfort. I suppose one of the challenges of being in your 30s and wanting to pursue your hobbies is that you have to make these choices between work, relationships with people, your family, your health, and really there's only so much time within the day. It's difficult to balance it all out, and I get that I make the choice to go work out or go spend time with friends, but I'm equally choosing not to go play a video game. I suppose part of that is I look at games nowadays and they don't really excite me like they used to, so it's less of an appealing option. I mentioned earlier that I've been playing older games as there's some comfort in nostalgia, but I'm not saying modern games suck. Maybe they're just not for me at the moment. The only game I've bought recently and it's playing through in the background at the moment is Dynasty Warriors Origin. And again, there's probably a lot of nostalgia in that game for me. I absolutely adore that series, and I look back fondly on Dynasty Warriors 4 and Samurai Warriors 2. I don't think I'm alone in how I feel when it comes to modern video games, and especially with people who are my age. I was talking to someone recently who was absolutely stoked to have picked up a PS3 and was able to play Metal Gear Solid 4 again. He'd basically packed away his PS5 to play an almost 20-year-old console. I did start uploading to this channel again, as I wanted to try and find my love for gaming. I'm not really sure how I do that. I would like to try and play new games, but as I have less spare time, I'm a little more picky about what I'm trying to play, and how I'd like to spend my spare time. New games just spark less joy for me at the moment. I might just end up resubscribing to WoW. That's always been a comfort. If you've made it this far, thanks for listening. I appreciate this was a bit rambly and almost became a bit of a therapy session for me. It's just been in my mind for a while, and I wanted to get it off my chest. I may do more videos like this, just sort of rambly as I play video games. I'd be curious to know if there are people who have similar experiences to me in terms of just falling out of love with gaming. If you have, just throw them in the comments. Anyway, take care.